Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to take a little bit of a different path, whereas usually I talk about the latest hardware that's come out. I'm actually going to be talking about one of the software features in iOS and iPadOS 15 today. And what I'm talking about is focus modes. Focus modes were introduced along with iOS 15, and they were sort of like one of the tentpole features that Apple talked about during the keynote. But in typical Apple fashion, they basically talked about them for a few minutes, and then when iOS 15 came out, they were part of the release. But Apple didn't really explain how they worked, and people were generally confused, and I'm assuming a lot of people just didn't even bother to look at them. So in this video, I'm not only going to talk about how focus modes work, but also how you can use shortcuts along with focus modes to turn your iPad into a powerhouse productivity machine. Let's take a look at how it works. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things tech, particularly those smaller tech items to help you increase your productivity, streamline your workflow, and make your life easier. So like I said earlier, focus modes are an extremely effective way to set up your device to help you become more productive, to kind of block out unwanted notifications, silence calls that you may not want to take, emails, etc. And it's very easy to set them up. Let's take a look at how to do that first. All right, so the first thing you want to know is exactly how to get into focus modes. There's a couple different ways, but generally the easiest one is going to be by swiping in the control center from the top right of your screen. You'll see a button that says focus that you click on, and then you'll see all of the different focus modes that you have available. I've actually got 3 set up here that I'm going to show you that are tailored to different situations like gaming, productivity, recording video, and then there's also some ones that come with the device that Apple pre-populated. Now, if you actually want to go in and set up your focus modes, you would go into your settings and go into focus on the left-hand side, and you'll see all the different focus modes that are here. We've got gaming, we've got personal, productivity, etc. And you can basically go in each one of them and customize the option. So for example, if we go into my one for productivity, we'll see that I've got allowed notifications from nobody. I've got the apps that I want to get notifications from. You can specify whether you want your status to show as on. When, for example, like someone is trying to text you, they'll get a message that says that you have focus mode enabled, and you'll reach out to them once you're done doing whatever you're doing. You can also pick whether you want to hide the notification badges, and you can even pick custom pages, and that's going to be a big part of how I have my particular focus mode set up with shortcuts. You can also customize whether the lock screen gets dim, if you want your notifications to show up on your lock screen. And you can also even schedule an automation, so your focus mode will come on at a particular time, at a particular place. You can set that all up here. You can even name it, set a color for it, set a icon for it. Where it gets a little bit more complicated is when we start to add shortcuts into the mix. But once you get the hang of shortcuts, it's really not that hard, and you can basically replicate the conditions for each of the focus modes you set up to your new focus modes, making them much easier to get set up once you get the initial ones set up on your device. Other thing that I didn't mention is you'll see this toggle right down here that says share across your devices. Now when you have that turned on, what it means is whenever you turn on a focus mode, say on your iPad, it's also going to transfer to whatever other devices you have signed into your iCloud account. So if you've got an iPad, an iPhone, a Mac, that focus mode is going to be enabled on every single device that's tied to your account. Now, the conditions won't be exactly the same. For example, the shortcuts that I have set up on my iPad do not transfer over to my Mac or my iPhone. So you have to have the shortcuts set up on those devices too if you want the same exact behavior to occur. But at least you get the benefits of the focus modes as far as the notifications, as far as how your device kind of looks and feels. You're just not going to get things like being able to pick what screens show up, the appearance, dark mode, stuff like that. That's going to be enabled on my iPad. But it's still a really cool feature to have, and it even works on your watch. So if you have an Apple Watch, that focus mode is going to transfer to your Apple Watch if it's tied to your iCloud account. Okay, so now that you've had a little taste of how focus modes work, we're going to see how I've set up a few different focus modes on my iPad along with shortcuts to really tailor the look and feel depending on the task that I happen to be doing at the time. You'll see how you can automatically change your background, you can launch playlists, and even turn your iPad into dark mode for certain situations. Let's see how it's done. So as I said, Apple comes with some templates that are sort of pre-populated based on how they think you would want to have your devices set up in focus mode. I've gone ahead and set up 3 different focus modes that I'm going to show you on this device, and I'll show you exactly how I did that. So let's take a look. We're going to go back into our focus modes, and the first one I have set up is for productivity. And productivity is basically going to have all the apps that I feel like I need to use for work, as well as some widgets. So we're going to enable productivity. So when I enabled this focus mode, you probably saw that the wallpaper changed, it suddenly went into dark mode, the screen got a little bit dimmer. The one thing that you didn't see or actually hear is that it also launched a custom station that I have on Apple Music. I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is my productivity screen. Basically what I've got here is the weather widget from Apple. I've got a widget from Spark Calendar, which basically shows me the time, the day, my agenda, and any tasks that I have. I find that really useful, especially if I've got a lot of stuff going on a particular day. I've got my shortcuts widget that allows me to get back to any focus mode that I would like, or get me back home. I've also got the Spark email widget that shows me any new emails that have shown up. I've got the Craft widget, which shows me all of my recent documents. And if you're not familiar with Craft, it's an excellent alternative to Notion that I may cover in a future video. And then I've got a few apps set up that I usually use on a day-to-day basis to run my business as well as run my YouTube account. So I've got Lightroom, I've got YouTube Studio, I've got Trello, Slack, Spark, which is an excellent email app. I've got Paychecks, which is how I run payroll for my employees, and I've also got the Facebook Business Suite for when I'm running ads and other pertinent information on Facebook. So the interesting thing about this is through focus modes, I've actually specified that I only want this screen to show up during my productivity focus. So if I try to swipe to another screen, nothing is showing up except for the app library. So that really enables me to really focus on the things that I need to work on before I switch out of this focus mode. And I'm going to go back home by pressing this button right here, and you can see that my device starts to change. It does take a second to run the automation, but as you can see, my wallpaper has now gone back to normal. I've got my normal widgets. I can go basically between the different screens that I have set up here. The one thing that doesn't change when you go into focus modes is your apps on the bottom screen. Those unfortunately stay the same. There's really no way to get rid of that. So just kind of be aware of that when you are going into a focus mode. You will still have the apps on your menu bar available to you. So it's a little bit of a downside if you're really trying to get rid of the distractions that you don't need, but you could always customize it by getting rid of things that are going to take time away from your tasks. All right, so the next focus mode I have set up is for recording video. This one's a little bit more basic. I've got right here, again, a Craft widget, which basically has all of my YouTube scripts and ideas and things like that. I've got a clock widget from Apple, which just kind of helps me keep track of time. Got a smaller weather widget. Again, I've got my shortcuts to all of my focuses, so instead of having to swipe into Control Center, I can just hit a button and I can go into whichever focus I want. And then I've got apps that I'm going to be using when I'm recording videos. So I've got Lightroom again, I've got LumaFusion, which I use sometimes as an alternative to Final Cut. Great app for the iPad. I've got Imaging Edge, which is an app that allows me to see my camera screen on my iPad. Very useful for certain situations. I've got the DJI app, so if I'm using my Osmo Pocket or my Osmo Action, that's how I'm going to be importing the footage. I've got the camera app if I need to use my iPad to take any photos or videos, which doesn't happen a whole lot, but you never know. Got Hokusai 2, which is a great audio editor that I've used on several occasions. I've also got the Voice Memos app if I need to record some quick audio on the iPad. Photos app, of course, really comes in handy when you've got some photos that you need to work with and maybe import into Lightroom. And of course, the YouTube Studio app if I need to check on anything relating to my YouTube channel. And you can see from my recording video focus, it's very basic as far as the background goes. I wanted something that wasn't going to be very distracting, so I chose this kind of gradient blue background. Works really well and kind of helps me sort of get in the vibe for recording a video and for working on photos and things like that. And the last focus mode we're going to take a look at is my gaming focus. And I know it's kind of funny, like, really, do you need to be focused on gaming? But just wanted to kind of show you guys an example of how you could set this up. You know, maybe you're like, all right, I'm going to spend an hour on gaming so I can kind of get back to working on my tasks, and I just want to be able to launch into the gaming apps that I have on my iPad, and I don't have to search around for them, and I can just have it set up exactly how I want. So I launch into gaming, and you can see the screen now changes. I found this cool kind of like futuristic, sort of artistic Apple logo for the background. I've got my Apple Arcade widget set up, as well as my App Store widget in case I need to just launch the App Store really quickly to maybe I want to find a new game that's come out on Arcade, things like that. Of course, I've got my shortcuts widget again. I've got my battery widget, so basically I can see how much juice is left in my iPad at a glance, as well as if I have any controllers or headphones hooked up, those will show up there as well. And then I've got a few games listed here, such as Crossy Road, PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty, Madden, Lego Star Wars, and Castlevania. So just a few games I've got on here. Honestly, I don't spend a whole lot of time playing games, but it's kind of cool to just have this set up. And again, I only have this screen visible, so I'm swiping back and forth, and it's only going to allow me to go into that screen, so I can really focus on gaming if I want to. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how I actually set these up with shortcuts to automate all of my tasks to make the focus modes look and feel and sound exactly how I want them to. So the first thing we're going to look at is how to actually set up a custom wallpaper for your focus mode. It's actually pretty easy to do. What you want to do is go into your Photos app, and you can see when you go into my albums, I've got a few different ones that are named according to the focus modes I have set up. So I've got a recording one, a gaming one, wallpapers, and productivity. And in each one, I've only got one wallpaper. So when you're setting up a focus mode and you want to use a particular wallpaper, what you're going to do is you're going to get that wallpaper first. So pretty much any website that has wallpapers for your iPad or iPhone, you're going to download it to your device. So once you've downloaded your photo, you're going to set up an album with the same name as your corresponding focus. So you can see I've got my recording focus album, got my gaming focus album, I've got my productivity focus album, and I've also got one called wallpapers. What that is the wallpaper that I wanted to go back to once I'm done with this particular focus, because otherwise it's going to stay on that wallpaper and you're going to be stuck there and going to have to go back in your settings and change it back. So you definitely want a wallpapers album. From there, we're now going to go into our shortcuts app, and you're going to go into the section that says automation. Now you can see here I've got several different automations depending on the focus mode that I have set up. You can see I've got my gaming, I've got my productivity, and I've got my recording automations. So we're going to take a look at how I've set up my productivity automation when I'm turning it on. This automation is enabled, and when I turn my productivity on, we're going to look at what it does. So I've got several steps in here. First, it's going to find the photos that are in the album named Productivity. It's going to set the lock screen and the home screen wallpaper to that particular photo that's in that album. It's also going to turn the appearance dark, and then it's going to play this lo-fi hip-hop music, Beats to Relax to Study Station on Apple Music, and then it's going to set the brightness to 80%. You can see that there's other suggestions here, like if you want to set the volume, you can set up airplane mode. You can really do almost anything you want as long as there's a shortcut for it. So now that you can kind of see how I have them set up, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that and the steps that you'll take. So I've gone in and set up a kind of an example focus under the personal tag. You can pretty much do this with any focus. You can create your own, or you can use one of Apple's pre-populated ones. And I've kind of customized it to just show you how you might set up a typical focus. Next thing you want to do is go into your Shortcuts app, and you're going to hit the plus button up at the top and hit Create Personal Automation. Go down to where it says Focus. You're going to find the personal one, and you're going to do it when turning on. And then you're going to add your first action. We're going to search for photos. And from here, you're going to want it to find photos because that'll find the background that you want to use. And from here, you're going to hit add filter and make sure your album is the one that you set up that corresponds to this particular focus, in which case we have the personal one. And I already went in, put a picture in there that I wanted to use, a picture that I took at Morro Bay a few months ago, and that's going to actually show up when I pick this particular focus. So from here, we're now going to pick another action, which you can search for down here, and you're going to search for wallpaper. You can see set wallpaper, and we're going to want to set the lock screen and the home screen, so both of those change, and we're going to set it to photos. So basically the first action is finding the photo, second action is bringing up that particular photo from that album, and that's why we only want to have one photo in each particular album, because otherwise it's going to get confused. Now, one important thing to notice here is if you hit the down arrow on the photos button, it'll say show preview. We don't want it to show a preview because then it's going to kind of ask you every time you run it. It's going to be kind of annoying. So turn that off, but we are going to turn on perspective zoom so we get that kind of 3D sort of effect on it. Now we've got our lock screen and home screen set up. When we launch this focus mode, we're going to launch into that wallpaper. Let's say the next thing we want to do is we want to change the appearance. So we hit set appearance, and we can either turn our appearance dark or light, or you can ask each time. We're going to set it to dark, so it does that automatically. And let's say that we also want a playlist to launch when we do this. So you're going to hit music, and you're going to want to pick play music. And once you go into music, it gives you a few different options. You can do listen now, you can do browse, radio, you can pick songs from your library. We're gonna make it easy and just pick one of the radio stations. This is our personal one, so I'm a big fan of jazz, so let's pick the jazz station. And you can see right there, it's now gonna play jazz. And from there, basically you can do anything else you want for this focus mode, but I don't wanna get too complicated, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm going to hit next, and you can see when we turn personal on, it's going to find the photos, it's going to set the wallpaper, set the appearance, play the music, and really important, we want to uncheck ask before running because it's going to ask you each time you do it if you want to change it. We want to turn that off, don't ask, and we're going to hit done. So now the next thing we want to do before we're done is we want to create another automation that will change this focus mode back once you're done with it. So essentially we're just retracing our steps. We're going to create another personal automation. We're going to go to our personal focus, but now it's going to be when turning off. We're going to hit add action. Again, we're going to do photos and find photos. Make sure your album is now your wallpapers or whatever you created to go back to the original wallpaper that you were using. We're now going to add the wallpaper action so we can set our wallpaper, and it will set it to those photos. Remember to not show a preview, but hit perspective zoom. We're now going to the appearance automation, set appearance, and we want to now go back to light. And one final action we want to set up is for music to make sure our playlist goes off. So we're going to go to the play pause, and we're going to make sure that it is set to pause. So that way it'll turn that particular playlist off. We're all set up here. We're going to hit next. Remember to uncheck ask before running. The one final thing that you most likely will want to do here is set up your folder for your different shortcuts so you have easy access to them on the home screen. So as you can see here, I've set up a folder with my 3 focus modes as well as a home button. So now I can place that 4 shortcut widget on my desktop, and whenever I need to, I can go back home, I can pick another focus mode. Works very easy. So all you would do in this case is you would set up your folder with the focus modes you've created, then you can place this widget on the desktop that you need it to go on, and it's very easy to turn your focuses on and off. And so now, just to check that our focus mode is actually working, we're going to go into our focus modes, we're going to hit personal. You can see now we have this page that I set up for these purposes. We've got a few different widgets set up. Our screensaver has now Our wallpaper has now changed, and you can hear that we've now got our playlist playing, but I'm going to turn that off so I don't get a copyright strike. But exactly how I set it up, we've got dark mode, we've got the page that I set up, we can't get access to any other pages, we have that playlist that started. You can also, like I said, you can set your brightness levels, you can run several different shortcut automations to make this exactly how you want it. And when we turn our focus mode off, we are now going to go back to how my iPad was set up before. So that's a quick tutorial on how to set up your iPad to use focus modes to your advantage to take your productivity to the next level. So that's just a little look at how you can really take focus modes, tweak them exactly how you want them using shortcuts, and how it's very simple to achieve that. I'm really curious to hear if you guys have setups that you like to use on your iPads, if you've been using shortcuts for a while to do different things with focus modes. I'm really curious to see if there's other things that maybe I didn't mention in this video that you have your guys' devices set up to do. Please leave a comment below. If you're not subscribed, please remember to subscribe to the channel as well as like this video, as it helps me to grow the content and produce more content, as I try to do that at least once or twice a week. I really appreciate all the new subscribers that we've picked up recently. It's great to see so many people interested in my content, and I've got several videos I'm working on at the moment. As always, really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.